What's good, guys? It's your boy X. We're back with some more fragtastic content on New World. Here we have our updated Bruiser build. It's the unkillable Bruiser build. It's literally insane. You can just destroy everything. So far with this build, we've won 2 offensive wars, popped off top frags. It's nasty in OPRs, 30 bombs all day. It's gross. It's just a very mean build. We'll kind of break it down into a few different sections. We'll go over the gear, we'll go over some of the skills needed, and we'll kind of go over the playstyle a bit. Try to keep everything short and sweet. So starting off with the gear, we have elemental aversion, frost conditioning, critical retribution. I love critical retribution on my head, especially because I don't use one on my ring. So this allows me to make sure that when I go into a clump, I'm going to go ahead and get that crit rep proc and get a little bit of extra crit, which is obviously very wonderful on the great axe, healing us a little bit, dealing more damage, works really great. Elemental aversion is awesome. This paired with frost conditioning will really help us take as little damage as possible when we're in clumps for mages, so we don't have to really worry so much about mages, and we can kind of get to do what we need to do, whether that be hunting healers, you know, fighting in the clump, getting frags there. At least you can just worry about focusing on iframing, you know what I'm saying? Iframing the melee moves and the blunderbuss, splitting grenades, things like that. You don't have to pay so much attention to the, you know, ice showers and things of that nature. Moving on to the chest piece, resilient elemental aversion. You'll see here that I only use 4 pieces of resilient. Obviously we have 150 con, so we're getting the 10% reduction there. 4 pieces of resi with the 150 con. I feel good with it. If I did have to swap for something else, you know what I mean? Obviously we could get resilient on here, but I don't think that it's necessary. I think 4 pieces plus 150 is great. My perfect, in an ideal world on this, I would get maybe shirking fortification, or maybe, yeah, really just shirking fortification. That's what I would do for this. That's my best build there. Moving forward to the hand piece, resilient, insatiable. The third perk that I would want to get on this would probably be elemental aversion. Usually I only use 2 pieces of shirking for it, ideally sometimes 3. I feel like 3 is a little bit overkill, to whereas I like to kind of prioritize other perks. It's not necessarily overkill. I feel like with where I'm at in the game currently, obviously we have thousands of hours on Great Axe Warhammer, you know, a lot of mastery there. I really think 2 is good. So the extra damage mitigation when fighting in clumps from blunderbuss, from ice gauntlets, you know, things of that nature, I think would do definitely much better. So elemental aversion, I would get on this. For the pants, we have the regular pants. If you play Brimestone Sands, you know this is probably one of the easiest pieces to farm and probably one of the best pieces to farm. It's just a free piece with shirking fort and refreshing resilient. The refreshing for me is a waste, really. I mean, I don't really care about refreshing. I'm just kind of using it just to get as a buffer, kind of a buffer piece right now. My ideal piece for this would probably be resilient, shirking fortification, and then maybe elemental aversion. Yeah, probably elemental aversion. Moving forward to the boots, we have resilient, frost conditioning, elemental aversion. So we have 2 pieces of frost conditioning, allowing us to mitigate 8% of frost damage. Again, in combination with 1, 2, 3 pieces of elemental aversion, which is also reducing damage by 12%. We are essentially rendering the ice gauntlet useless. Like, it does nothing to us, which is really big, you know what I mean? Anytime you see a clump, anytime you see a gravel, you know it's going to get ice showered, ice stormed, all that big stuff. We don't worry about that whatsoever. We have the elemental aversion in there, so we're getting about roughly 12, well, a little bit less, like 11.7% damage mitigation from elemental gems, which allows us to do something really cool, and we'll get into that once we get done going over the rest of the drip. So for the Ami, we have Health Divine, Shirking, Debilitate, Cleanse. I would like to see Health Divine, Shirking, and Power in a perfect world. Just haven't got that roll yet. This I found real cheap. It was like 10k. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Insta cop. It was right before one of our offensive wars, and I really just wanted an extra, just an extra little bit of perk to min max everything. Shirking Debilitate Cleanse is kind of nice. Again, not shirking your power, but it's still pretty good. Being able to lose that rend or weaken primarily is what I'm looking at here. That way, excuse me, that way I can either deal more damage or prevent myself from taking as much damage. Moving on to the ring, this is probably one of my favorite pieces so far. We have slash damage, invigorated punishment, and leeching. Really, really good. I was thinking about maybe doing something different here, but so far this is really great for me. Slash damage, obviously adding the 5%, well 4.9% to our just base abilities from the great axe, which is really awesome. I think that anytime you're looking into min-max damage, having whatever your attribute is in a damage form on your ring is awesome. Specifically with the Bruiser build, it's really, really cool. So we got 5% there. Invigorated punishment, dealing obviously potential max 16% damage off abilities, and then leeching just for some extra sustainability. It was kind of the perk that I rolled. It's not terrible, it's not great. Extra, extra 5% heals, helps keep you up a little bit, but really leeching is just kind of, it's kind of meh. But invigorated punishment slash damage together is really good because we're ensuring that we can essentially deal maximum damage off our auto attacks and also try to get max damage and big burst damage off our abilities. Grab Us still being one of the predominantly strongest abilities in the game with insane burst damage and stuff like that. It's really, really cool, and I think it pairs really well. For the earring, I have Refreshing Toast, Purifying Toast. This is honestly one of my favorite pieces as well too, although it's purple, just because Purifying Toast and Refreshing Toast are so good. Potions cooling down faster, obviously a must. If you're gonna get an earring, no matter what build, Refreshing Toast always a must. Purifying Toast is good because whenever you're in OPRs or in wars, primarily OPRs, because in wars obviously we have cleansing potions, which is literally insanely broken. But in OPRs, especially if you don't have healers, you're solo queuing, things of that nature, Purifying Toast, pop that common regen real quick, not the infused boys because it's a waste. Pop a common regen, get your get your debuff gone, get the extra health regen, works really well. The one that I would swap in wartime scenario is just Doom's Chance. Doom's Chance is still really good. Again, it just Purifying Toast is redundant when you have cleansing pots because cleansing pots are so broken. This would be something I would go to. Something I would, if I rolled a perfect bis, maybe I put Refreshing Ward on here, Refreshing Toast, and Purifying Toast, right? And that would be awesome. That'd be amazing. But this is cool. Everybody's got Doom Chance. It works fine. You're great. You're chilling. Moving over to the big boy stuff. Moving over to the weapons. We have Thwarting Strikes, Keen, Attunement. This one, honestly, took me a while to get. Still not perfect. Would like to see a refreshing move on this. Unfortunately, after like I think 600k in rolls we spent, my company, and I pretty sure we haven't gotten it yet. So this is one of the best ones that we had. One of my other homies who did all the rolling and who kind of funded the roll, shots to the homie James, he got a Thwarting Strikes Attunement Keenly Jagged Axe, which is super insane. Really, really good axe. This is the one we got though. So we have the crit chance on here with Keen, obviously helping us get those, synergizing with our headpiece, helping us get those crits, a little bit of extra health back, all that good stuff. Thwarting Strikes, just a golden standard on all great axes, dealing 12% more damage when we have grit. Attunement, 18% damage. So right there you have an extra 30% damage just from those abilities. We factor in the Retaliate, which by far is the only gem that you should socket if you're a Bruiser. There is no literally comparison. If you're still using Opal, you're about 2 months behind, bro. Retaliate, it's yo, don't laugh at me. It's multiplicative, the damage, right? I think I said it right, not additive. So you're dealing more damage. If you're a Bruiser, you're getting hit all the time, right? All the time you're getting hit. You're maintaining the 15% by using a Jasper. You're not getting the 12% which you would have if you used the Opal. Obviously with using the Rune Glass. So that's big. I'm choosing to use a electrified Retaliate Jasper gem, just because I think lightning damage is one of the coolest abilities in the game, just coolest things. You can't really spec to it as well either. So getting a little bit of the extra damage, it's nice. As you can see, so what do we have? 30% between thwarting strikes, attunement. Then we factor in the Jasper, 45%, add 8% on there. If you know, again, granted it's a dot, but you can add the 8% on there as well to 53% extra damage. Plus we have the 4.9% coming here. And you know, things start to get really insane. We start to pump a lot of damage. Moving over to the hammer, this one is just kind of, I just really wanted thwarting strikes and sundering shockwave. Obviously I don't have a good third perk here. This is just really the only thing I use my hammer for is just for CCs. So having the shockwave on there, it fits in perfect with my build of thwarting strikes, making sure they deal more damage. You know, also synergizing with invigorated punishment. I think it does work good. A good second that I use is my rogue sundering shockwave axe. I do a lot of auto attacks with the hammer, like a lot of like not fully charged heavies, but I'd say like medium charged heavies to close distance, or light attacks to close distance when people are running away. Essentially using the hammer for its lunge because it gets more lunge than the great axe. So having rogue works really good with that play style. Thwarting strikes is obviously good as well too. So here you just, in my opinion, you really want to make sure you have sundering shockwave. It's really nice to have on the hammer. You can have it on the gear. I don't recommend it as much. I think the hammer is the best spot for it. And then thwarting strikes is good. Rogue is good. And then, you know, maybe even enchanted, but definitely try to stick to those two. I think it'll be really good with the play style and kind of just how things work. As far as our heart rune, I don't even have it fully upgraded yet, but detonate's insane. You pretty much throw a grab well, go into a clump, detonate, comp to your healer though, because you do take increased damage when you're detonating. So make sure that you calm your healer, that way he can heal you. Go in there, detonate, blow things up, W key, do bruiser things. It works great. If you're a bruiser, no other heart rune you should have until they drop the new ones. This is it. Run detonate. Now we can kind of go over the gem allotment, which I think is a really big one, and this is kind of where everything comes together. And I kind of want to save it just because, you know, it's lit like that. So obviously we have 3 pieces of elemental aversion, granting us around 12% elemental resistance. So with that being said, we're free to slot the gems, whatever gems we slot in our armor. We're free to essentially have those all be physical. Now in the greatsword bruiser meta that we kind of experience when we're in wars and in OPRs, minus the bow guys and the musket guys still being there, a lot of the fighting that you're going to be doing, you're going to be going up against either bruisers trying to peel for their healers because you're backline diving, you know what I'm saying, you're getting to the healers, or you're just super W keying, which you should always be doing. Remove your S key from the keyboard, only W key please. We're getting massive slash damage resistance. I think when I get hit for slash damage, I'm only getting hit for like maybe 700-800. And we're able to stand in the clumps, take care of business with the elemental aversion and the frost conditioning protecting us from those, a lot of the mage attacks in the clumps. The bruisers in the clumps are not able to really hit us for much. We have good damage resistance to slash damage. Strike damage, we only have 9%. Same for thrust. I don't get hit by muskets much. Really not a problem for me. Strike damage obviously comes from hammers. So hammers are the number one thing that you're gonna want in an iframe, and that will definitely be one of the most valuable skills to this build, because there is no freedom, is iframing. So we'll show kind of how I practice my iframing and how you guys can as well too, coming up here in a bit. But this is definitely the build, bro. This is the sauce. It's really sick, man. It's unstoppable. You don't take bruiser damage, you don't take elemental damage, especially if you have healers on your side, and you're able to pump insane amount of damage. Obviously for this as well too, that's something I did forget. The rune glasses that we're using in all this is rune glass of punishing. The reason why we're using rune glass of punishing in our armor, as of this current writing, it does not count towards your empower cap. So that means that this 5% damage that we're getting from having punishing gems in here, isn't counting towards our power cap, which we're at almost all the time with Mauler's Fury and you know, some of our other perks. So really nice to have this on there. We're getting the 5% extra from that. We're at like 53% extra from our great axe. We're just constantly dealing insane damage. So obviously, you know, if we're dealing 1440 damage off our great axe and we're getting almost 60% of that damage like added on to that as well, you can see how this is a problem build. All right, so that's pretty much the gem allotments. That's the gear. We talked about the whys. We talked about the whats, the who's, all that good stuff. Now let's dive into some footage. I'll show you how I practice my iframing, which is really just finding the best bruiser that I know, hitting them up, dueling with them. I think it's excellent. In duels, you can learn things on a smaller scale, as opposed to when you're fighting in OPRs and wars. It's kind of hard for you to, if you're trying to learn how to iframe, it's not really the best environment to do so because there's so many factors happening. Start small, do 1v1s, practice iframing. Then you'll see it directly translate into OPRs and wars. And then outside of that, I believe that's really it, man. You just have to W key. That's the number one tip, W key. When you think you shouldn't be W keying as a bruiser, W key harder. If you die, that's fine. Your job as a bruiser, seriously, double W key, dump as much damage, and kill as many people. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it helps, man. Here's the footage of us fragging out. Talk to you soon. Yeah. The news, man. All those iframes, fellas. Better learn them. I'm out, way, bro. guy was in my way. I really just had to get out of his way. I'm on cooldown. Sorry, Bob. Yeah, I was off cooldown. That's my bad. Gotta be one other hitter here, right? Yeah, boys. Come on, give me some juice. Give me some juice. I think that if you don't have Keen on your ring, I think it's very good. I think it's like a justifiable bit in my opinion, right? Yeah, I think if you got Keen on your ring, bro, you can give it up. Like you said, get freedom, elemental aversion, something like that. Oh, let me in, bro. I'm stuck. Come on, come on. There we go. Work with me, baby. We got to PR this game.